Street Fighter 6 was my first ever Street Fighter game I played, and I can say now that I'm completely addicted to it. Almost 300 hours later, in over 1 year, I recently peaked Diamond 1 with Marisa on the PS5, something I never achieved on any other competitive game I played. And that includes games like League of Legends, which I played over 1000 hours, and Overwatch, which I played over 500 hours, in which Plat was my pick on both of those games. And that's why reaching Diamond on Street Fighter in just over a year, it's such a personal achievement for me. But how did we end up here? That's gonna be the question I'll be answering on this video. I'll be talking about my journey on Street Fighter 6 so far. If you watched my last video, you will know that Multiverses was the reason why I started paying more attention to fighting games. I picked Street Fighter 6 on release, and I was faced with my first big challenge: stop mashing and start hitting buttons with intention. Unlike Tekken, which was the only fighting game I played before, I couldn't mash and just see a cool combo coming out. So it was hard at first to get used to that. But maybe that was what motivated me to actually learn the game to finally do cool combos and stuff. But in order to do that, I needed to find my main first. Since I had zero knowledge about the roster of Street Fighter, because I only knew Ken and Ryu, and Kimberly was the character that during the beta looked the coolest to me, so I had to try her out first. But she was a little too fast for me, and since I had zero knowledge about the game, it was hard. So I went to the Shotos and I tried out Ken and Ryu, but they looked hard to beat for some reason as well. And bear in mind, I was playing with a pad, with the PS5 pad, which it's a completely legit way to play, but I struggled to do motion inputs a lot. Like, for me, it was completely a challenge to do a motion input. So I decided to look for a list of beginner-friendly characters, and Ryu, Ken were there, of course. But also was Marisa, and Marisa really caught my eye. She looked simple enough for me, but fun at the same time. After trying it out for a little bit, and seeing that I actually had hands to at least learn the basics of this character, I decided to main her because she was so fun. From what I played so far with it. So I started to watch streams and videos of Marisa players, which is something really rare nowadays, to try to learn the basics of the character, like the best attacks, what should be my focus. But since my patience to lab stuff back then wasn't too high, because I just wanted to play the game, so I decided to up on unranked, get destroyed, and got placed on rookie. I was completely clueless of what I was doing or trying to achieve. I pretty much was just doing the medium punch target combo Gladius for the entire match, and that was my entire game plan. But with the generous ranking system that Street Fighter has in the early ranks, in a couple weeks I managed to climb to silver, which motivated me to keep on grinding and learning the game. And in a few weeks after, I got to gold around Christmas, New Year, but little did I know that I was about to reach my first big plateau. I was struggling even to get out of gold 1 initially, and even when I first start getting out of it, I would be getting up and down all the time. And looking back now, I think the only reason why I was just going up most of the times was because I was getting lucky win streaks and I would get enough points to climb, but then I would just go all the way down again because I didn't deserve to be up there. I was having so much fun playing the game, even though I was starting doubting myself. So to try to improve a little bit more, I started doing combo trials for like 30 minutes before jumping into ranked to try to get better. Something that nowadays I know that it's not the best and the ideal thing to do to improve, but I guess it helped a little bit at the time. But the last combo trial of the intermediate level, I just couldn't do it for some reason. I was I spent months and months, and I'm not kidding, trying to do that combo, but I just couldn't do it for some reason. It was definitely a skill issue, but I started blaming the controller and this is not good, this is not registering my inputs, yada yada yada. But even with all this struggle, I was having a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. But since my passion with Street Fighter 6 and fighting games in general wasn't fading away, it was actually getting bigger, I decided to invest on a leverless controller, and I decided to get the Razer Kitsune, which was completely a game changer for me. And the proof of that was the trial that I was just talking about, that it took me less than 10 tries with the leverless to finally do it. Something that I was for months stuck with the pad. And it wasn't something like just beginner's luck, a one-time thing, because I actually started doing that combo consistently, so it wasn't just luck. My biggest struggle with it was just jumping, but honestly it was a good thing because I was jumping like a dumb bunny before with the controller, so it was a good thing. In less than a month with the leverless controller and 100 hours more or less of total play time in the game, I finally reached platinum, which will be my next big plateau. But plat being the first rank that you could actually drop down to the previous one, it took me a while to get consistent enough to not drop back to gold. I even dropped back to gold 3 at some point. But reaching plat on Street Fighter was already a huge achievement for me, because it was my first Street Fighter ever and the first fighting game that I played ranked. So technically getting to the same level as other games that I spent over 10 years playing in just a span of a year was pretty huge for me. But to stay consistent on plat, I needed to learn new stuff and level up my game. So I learned a few drive rush combos finally, because I barely used the drive gauge. And that alone was enough for me to reach my new peak, plat 2. But I stayed there for a while. And after some time, Bison was released and I decided to try him out, even though he was a charge character, which I didn't like, and I still don't like, to be honest. But I decided to pick him up, learn him, and in less than 1 month, I actually managed to reach plat 1 with him, compared to the 1 year that it took me with Marisa. And I slowly started playing less and less Marisa because I was being more consistent with Bison, and whenever I came back to Marisa, it felt so sluggish and slow. But after a few months, I started getting bored with Bison, so one night I decided to do a run back with Marisa. And as you might not know, I work night shifts, so my gaming time, even during my days off, it's during the nights. And late nights in Europe, the queue times are completely awful, and maybe because of my connection is bad as well, that's why I don't get as many games, but usually the queue times are long as hell. And that night I was having like 4 hours of queue, I'm not joking. So after the first game and after 15 minutes of not finding a game, I decided to watch some videos on how to improve with Marisa, like some spacing and frame traps, some meaty setups, and I spent all that time in queue labbing those. And I tell you, I had no idea how much that was gonna improve my gameplay. A queue time of 4 hours was pretty much my reason to level up my game. Just on the next day, I went from plat 2 to plat 4. Something just clicked on my brain finally, and I was going to the next level. So about 2 weeks later after that, with 270 hours, I finally reached Diamond 1 with Marisa. My first diamond in a fighting game, in any game ever. I still have a lot to improve and a lot to level up, but I want to hit the Masters one day, so I'm gonna keep trying and leveling up my game to the next level once again. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it. And on a personal level, this achievement for me was really important because it proved me that I'm someone that if I put some time, effort, and be patient, I can achieve whatever I put my mind on, no matter how long it takes. It's about the journey, not the destination, like people say. But at the same time, I ask myself, maybe I just got lucky again. So since I got the game on PC, I'm planning on recording my grind with Marisa and see how long it will take to get back to Diamond, and also to see if I can get even further beyond. Since I already had that planned, I decided to play only Bison on PC so far, and I actually got Diamond 1 in about 50 hours of play. And that made me think, maybe, just maybe, I'm actually getting there somehow. So that was it, guys. This was my Street Fighter journey so far. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks a lot for sticking around until now. And if you did, let me know down in the comments what's your main and why. And if you don't play the game, let me know if I maybe inspired you a little bit to at least try it. Because if a noob masher like me can reach Diamond, why wouldn't you? It's worth a try. Especially because you don't need to deal with toxic and troll teammates. Okay, until next time.